Have you ever stood still, watching a sunset over the ocean, feeling the breeze on your face, and yet deep inside something still felt off? I remember one evening during the chaos of the pandemic. I was standing on a quiet beach, the sky ablaze with colors that poets struggled to describe, and I realized something unexpected. Even with the world slowing down, even without deadlines, meetings, or crowds, I was still anxious. Not about something specific, not about missing a flight or giving a big speech. No, this was different. It was a low, persistent hum under everything. A tension I couldn't shake, and it hit me. The anxiety wasn't outside, it was inside. And if that's true for me, maybe it's true for you. 2. We often imagine the ancient Stoics as emotionless warriors of reason, invincible, untouchable, above all the noise. But the truth is, even the greatest Stoics wrestled with anxiety. They just had better ways to handle it. In this video, I want to walk you through 10 Stoic strategies, simple, practical, powerful tools that have helped me face anxiety head-on. These aren't abstract theories. They're timeless habits you can begin using today. So let's take the first step together. Statement 1. Focus on small actions. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you're staring at the mountain, especially when all you can see are the 100 steps you haven't taken yet. But what if you stopped looking at the peaks and just looked at the very next step? There's an old saying, many mickles make a muckle. In simpler terms, it means little things add up. And for the Stoics, this wasn't just a nice idea. It was a core principle for how they approached anxiety, overwhelm, and even life itself. Marcus Aurelius put it like this: we assemble our life action by action, step by step. That means you don't need to fix everything all at once. You don't need to conquer your fear in a day or solve your future in one giant leap. You just need to take the next right action, right now. Today, that might be something as simple as showing up, writing one sentence, cleaning your desk, taking a deep breath before your next task. That one small act done with full presence carries far more weight than obsessing over what's still undone. So when your goals feel distant, when anxiety tells you you're not enough or not doing enough, come back to this. Focus on the task in front of you, just that, as if it's the only thing that matters, as if it's your last act in this life. Because one action, done with intention, leads to the next. And over time, they build something meaningful, peacefully, quietly, one day at a time. And speaking of being present, what if the secret to calm wasn't in chasing something more, but in noticing what's already here? Let's explore that next. Statement 2. Cherish the present. Have you ever caught yourself scrolling through the chaos of the world, thinking, what's the point of all this? With so much uncertainty, pain, and noise out there, it's easy to become cynical. It's easy to forget that right here, right now, you're alive. Marcus Aurelius had a simple but powerful reminder. You're lucky to be alive in this moment. And not just alive, but awake enough to notice it. Yes, the world can be insane, but that doesn't mean we have to be. While we can't always control what's happening around us, wars, politics, pandemics, we can choose how we relate to it. The Stoics taught us to focus on our perceptions, on how we see the world, not the world itself. Gratitude, then, becomes a form of rebellion, a way to reclaim peace. Because no matter how messy the world gets, this moment, this exact moment, is a gift. There's a reason they call it the present, so instead of resenting the noise or constantly waiting for a better time, pause, breathe, look around. This is the only time in which you are alive. The past is memory, the future is unknown. But this moment, this is real, this is yours. Don't waste it. And once we realize the power of the present, we come face to face with another truth. Not everything deserves our attention. In fact, the next strategy is all about letting go of something we often cling to too tightly: our opinions. Statement 3. Not everything requires opinion. Not everything needs your opinion. That might sound strange in a world that constantly begs for your take. on politics, on drama, on whatever's trending today. But the truth is, reacting to everything is exhausting. It steals your peace. It clutters your mind. It distracts you from what really matters. Marcus Aurelius said it simply, "You don't have to have an opinion about this." Read that again. Let it sink in. You're allowed to see something and just let it be. You don't have to label it good or bad, fair or unfair. You don't need to jump in with a hot take. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't even need to care. Imagine the freedom in that. Imagine how much calmer your inner world would be if you gave fewer things power over your thoughts. The Stoics weren't cold or detached. They were selective. They knew that serenity doesn't come from having the right opinion. It comes from not needing one at all. So the next time something stirs you, an argument online, a headline, a rumor, ask yourself, do I really need to have an opinion about this? If not, let it go. That silence, that space, is where your clarity lives. But there's more to protecting your peace than just letting go of opinions. What happens when other people's judgments start creeping in? Let's talk about how Stoicism helps us deal with that next. Statement 4. Stop caring about what other people think. What if the loudest voice in your head isn't even your own? We've all been there, paralyzed before making a choice, hesitating before saying what we truly feel, all because of one nagging fear. What will they think of me? But the Stoics taught a powerful truth. Freedom begins when we stop living for the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, and us, that tranquility comes not when you control how others see you, but when you care only about your own thoughts, words, and actions. The moment you stop obsessing over what they say, what they think, what they expect, that's the moment you reclaim your peace. Think about it. How much time have you lost worrying about things that were never in your control to begin with? You can't stop people from judging. You can't force them to understand you. But you can choose to stay rooted in your own principles, to do what's right, whether or not it's approved. The Stoic path isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about waking up every day and asking, am I living in harmony with my values? If the answer is yes, then you're free. No applause needed. But here's the thing. Even when we stop caring what others think, we still have to deal with what we think. And if we ignore our emotions instead of facing them, we risk creating even deeper struggles. Let's dive into that next. Statement 5. Don't suppress your emotions, face them. What happens when you bottle up your emotions? Sure, it might feel like you've handled it for now. You push it down, keep busy, move on. But sooner or later, that emotion comes back with interest. Like putting pain on a credit card, you delay the cost, but it always comes due. The Stoics knew this well. Contrary to popular belief, they weren't emotionless statues. They didn't suppress emotions. They examined them, understood them, and worked through them. Marcus Aurelius journaled. Seneca wrote letters. Socrates asked questions. They all faced their emotions head on. Because here's the truth. Ignoring how you feel doesn't make you strong. It makes you vulnerable in a silent, dangerous way. The moment you pretend an emotion isn't there, you give it power. Power to grow in the dark. Power to strike when you least expect it. Real strength comes from clarity, from pausing, observing, and asking, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Anger, fear, jealousy, sadness, they all carry messages. If you take time to listen, you can learn. If you bury them, they will eventually rise, louder, heavier, and harder to manage. As Nassim Taleb said, the Stoics didn't suppress emotions. They domesticated them. But before you can do that, you have to face them, you have to feel them. And once we begin to face our inner world, we uncover something surprising. A lot of the suffering we experience, it doesn't come from reality. It comes from imagination. Let's explore that next. Statement 6. We suffer more from our imagination than from reality. Have you ever felt paralyzed by something that might happen? You lie awake at night, heart racing, thinking about all the things that could go wrong. The job interview, The difficult conversation, the worst-case scenario. But here's the catch. Most of those things, they never actually happen. Seneca said it best. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. That's not just philosophy, it's lived experience. Our minds are incredible at crafting stories, painting vivid disasters, spinning endless loops of what-ifs. But while the brain races ahead, the present moment quietly waits for us to return. Anxiety loves to live in the future. It feeds on uncertainty. It thrives when we obsess over outcomes we can't control. But the Stoics taught us that real peace comes from rooting ourselves in now, from focusing on what is, not what might be. Sure, it's wise to be prepared, but there's a difference between preparation and rumination. One builds resilience, the other drains it. So when fear creeps in, ask yourself, is this actually happening? Or am I just imagining it? If it's not real, let it go. If it is, face it with clarity, not panic. But what about when the pain is real? When people hurt us, insult us, or treat us unfairly? The Stoics had an unexpected take on that too. Let's talk about it in the next strategy. Statement 7. Suffering is a choice. They hurt you. They said something cruel. They ignored you, judged you, embarrassed you. But here's the question the Stoics would ask. Did they really harm you? Or did you choose to feel harmed? It sounds harsh at first, but it's actually liberating. Epictetus taught that harm is not in the act, it's in our perception of the act. Marcus Aurelius echoed the same. You are hurt the moment you believe yourself to be. Think about that. Someone's words only cut deep if you let them. Their actions only define you if you accept their version of the story. Even Eleanor Roosevelt said it in modern terms. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. That's not denial. That's power. It means you're not at the mercy of every insult, every rejection, every misunderstanding. You have the ability to say, this does not belong to me. I choose not to carry it. This is not about being passive. It's about being sovereign over your inner world. When you take ownership of your reactions, no one else gets to write your emotional script. So next time someone wrongs you, pause and ask, do I want to be hurt by this? Or do I want to stay grounded in who I am? And when the emotional weight gets too heavy, sometimes the best thing we can do is walk it off, literally. Let's look at how a simple daily walk became one of the Stoics' most powerful tools. Statement 8. Walking, when the mind needs a breathing space. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your mind is to put one foot in front of the other. No phone, no agenda, no destination, just walk. It doesn't sound like much, but for the Stoics and for me, it's become a daily practice that restores clarity, calm, and perspective. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Only ideas had while walking have any worth." And Seneca wrote that the mind, like a field, needs time to rest, or it will stop producing anything of value. He even warned that without rest the mind can snap, like a tool used without pause. I've taken that to heart. Every day I step outside and walk, with my kids, with my thoughts, or sometimes with nothing at all. I leave my work behind. I let my thoughts wander. I let the air and sky remind me that there's more to life than what's on my screen or in my head. Some days it's a quiet stroll through a neighborhood. Other days, it's laps in a parking lot. But it never fails to do its job. Reset my mind and open my heart. The Stoics understood that our minds need space, room to breathe, to process, to be. Walking gives us that. It's not just exercise for the body, it's rest for the soul, and while walking clears the mind, there's another practice that sharpens it: writing. Let's talk next about why journaling was a non-negotiable habit for the Stoics. Statement 9. Writing a journal, a mirror of your inner mind. How do you really know what you think until you see it written down? The Stoics didn't just think. In silence, they wrote. They used the page as a mirror, a place to reflect, to process, to return to themselves. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal, not for fame, not to be read, but to remind himself of what mattered, to untangle the chaos in his head, to train his thoughts like a soldier sharpens his sword, and you don't need anything fancy to do the same. A notebook, a piece of paper, the back of a receipt, or just the Notes app on your phone. Whether it's one line or one page, the point is, start. Write about what you're grateful for, what you're struggling with, what you want to remember tomorrow. Some days it might feel profound, other days messy, but that's the beauty of it. Journaling is not about perfection, it's about presence. When you write, you slow your thoughts, you observe them, and most importantly, you own them. It's no longer just emotions swirling inside, it's words on a page. It's something you can face, understand, and learn from. So don't wait for the right journal, the right pen, or the right moment. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time, right now. But even with the best habits in place, life will still throw us challenges. The Stoics knew that every situation carries a choice, a perspective we can pick up or put down. Let's finish with one of their most powerful mental shifts. Statement 10. Every situation has two handles. Life will hand you challenges. That's a given, but what if every situation, no matter how frustrating, unfair, or painful, had two handles? One that weakens you and one that makes you stronger. Epictetus said it best. Every situation has two handles. One will bear weight and one won't. You get to choose which one you grab. Take a betrayal, for example. You could see it as proof that people can't be trusted, that you were foolish. Or you could choose the other handle, an opportunity to grow, to forgive, to learn about boundaries or resilience. This isn't toxic positivity. This is power. This is perspective. Epictetus didn't speak these words from a place of comfort. He was born into slavery. He knew suffering intimately, but he also knew that victimhood is a story and strength is a choice. When you reach for the handle that bears weight, you're not denying the pain. You're transforming it. You're saying, this won't break me, it will build me. So the next time life hands you something difficult, pause and ask, which handle am I choosing right now? The one that makes me bitter, or the one that makes me better? Because in the end, how we respond is what defines us, not what happens to us. Now that you've seen all 10 strategies, you might be thinking, sure, this sounds powerful, but weren't the Stoics just emotionless? That's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. People often picture the Stoics as cold, detached, unfeeling, like stone statues standing still in the storm. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The Stoics felt everything. They faced fear, sadness, anger, anxiety, just like we do. The difference? They didn't let those emotions control them. They studied them. They wrote about them. They turned emotions into teachers, not tyrants. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, not because he had no emotions, but because he had so many, and he was determined to understand them. Seneca poured his doubts and dilemmas into letters. Epictetus taught from lived pain, not theory. The Stoics didn't run from their inner world. They walked straight into it with courage, honesty, and clarity. They knew that strength isn't found in suppression, but in transformation. So no, Stoicism isn't about becoming numb, it's about becoming wise. And if you're ready to take these ideas deeper, to move from inspiration to action, check out the Slay Your Stress Challenge at Daily Stoic Habits. It's packed with lessons, prompts, and tools to help you build lasting peace one day at a time. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing it with someone who might need it today. Remember, your mind is your most powerful tool, and Stoicism is how you sharpen it. Let's keep walking this path together.